beautiful story with a happy ending. We'll tear down the empire from the inside out.
Whoever controls the drug business controls the streets.
Hello, everybody out there in internet world. Welcome back to Inside All Day presents The Penguin, episode 3, The Bliss. Actually, it says still episode 2, but we'll change that later. How's it going, Chris?
It's going. I mean, well, we got episodes 2 and 3 to cover.
Anyway,
it's been a little bit, but yeah, let's let's jump right into it.
All right, we're going to be covering both episode 2 and 3 since we weren't here last week. Spoilers for The Penguin. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please share the stream. We're trying to get to 500 subs, hopefully by the end of the year. So let's pull in our guests, Sammy and Gooch. Hi, guys. How's it going?
You made it.
Very well. I enjoyed it.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
Are you just tagging Sammy in for the next 3 hours?
Engine revved up.
Do you mind not talking, Sammy? You're talking too much. You mind?
Yeah.
Pardon. Pardon me.
Turn the passion down a little bit, Sammy. Okay.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I know. So episode 3, The Bliss. Well, we'll talk about a little bit about episode. We can talk about episode 2 and 3 together. But what are you guys' initial thoughts, Sammy? I started Sammy first.
I think the show's been very consistent. I mean, the pilot episode is a hard act to follow, so that them managing to kind of keep that intensity going for 2 episodes is 3 episodes is I got to say I'm thoroughly impressed, and I've just been enjoying the hell out of it, really.
Gooch, wait, Gooch, I have something for you. There you go.
That's not for me. I'm sorry. I don't dibble dabble in that. No, this series. What I love about this series is like episode 1, and then getting into episode 3, you see you see snippets of the city, which has a character itself. Episode 2, you see more of the city. Episode 3, you see a lot of the city, and it's overwhelming. Like it really brings you into this gritty, dark environment that is pretty much like, you got to fend for yourself every day. You'd never know what's going to happen. The character development, to the mentorship, Kristen Milotti. Oh my God, oh my God, she is human Viagra. She is beautiful. Her acting, her manner. She doesn't even have to say anything. She almost has an odd Audrey Hepburn kind of style to her, where she just can do a look, and you know exactly what she's thinking, and she captures the moment, the scene. It's the series so far, to me, this is masterclass. Everything, the lighting, the editing, the cinematography, the directing, the acting, everything about it is just brilliant. I'm loving it, and I really, really like the dynamic with Victor and Oz, and then Oz with Sophia. So it's great work. Great work. Yeah,
I'm with you, Gooch. I think the writing is fantastic, especially as someone who just watched The Sopranos for the first time all the way through this year. So I know a lot of people compare it to, but to me, Gotham is its own character in this entire series. And I love that. I love when the environment is added and it adds different layers. And it also adds the layers to the character development for everyone, because this is where they grew up.
It pulls you in.
Hometown. Yeah.
It pulls you in, and you're sitting, you feel like you're sitting in this city, and you're just like, I'm like not liking where I am. Like, it's tense. Everywhere you're going, it's tense. It's brilliant.
And I'm from Chicago. That's how Chicago is. No, okay. Chris, I know you had different thoughts than the three of us on this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the latest episodes were fine. I think they kind of suffer from the fact that the pilot was so amazing. But I think it was just I thought everything still looked good. It was just kind of a step down in kind of the storytelling, I think. But I here.
So with this episode, and I'll bring it up here shortly, episode 2, we saw at the end that Oz and Sophia are going to be working together. He's able to almost form, I wouldn't say a partnership, but I guess a partnership more so, because they still, each of them don't trust each other, and you can see
It's
that
a trader's
with Oz.
truce.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Trader's truce. We walk into episode 3, and now we finally find out the type of drug that Alfonso was talking about that was a special drop. You should try Ghost, but that's a different story. So let me pull up the episode. And what I like about this episode is that we get a view of Victor's past in this episode, of where because I've been curious to know if he's had family this whole time. And it almost sets it up as maybe he had family in hiding. He just doesn't tell Oz. And then it takes you a minute to realize this is right at the end of the Matt Reeves, the Batman, when the floodgates open, or when they destroy the walls.
We're starting with episode 3, or we're not doing episode 2 at all.
I figured. Yeah, I figured I would just pull up episode 3, since that's going to be the majority of discussion.
Okay,
We can give spoilers for both. Sorry,
okay.
I should have been more clear on that. But yeah, we can talk about both.
Hi,
So I'm just going
buddy.
to pick certain scenes. Hi, Nick.
What up?
So, what were your initial thoughts on episode 2 and 3, Nick?
Man, I thought episode 2 was a great continuation from the pilot, and obviously episode 3 was just another great staple to the to the package we're getting here. I think the show is 3 for 3, batting on 100. You know, I wish more shows followed suit to this. I think the character progression, the arcs that we're continuing to see unfold, seeing characters grow within their own roles has been great to see as well. Just the plot is unfolding, and we're seeing more of just the scheming behind Oz, the chemistry between him and Sophia, the issues that Victor is kind of having to deal with on a personal level, and sort of this, criminalized career he's kind of been thrown into, or maybe just jumped into himself. It's been great though. I mean, I don't know if we've gone over sort of ratings yet for episode 2, but
No, Gooch is right. We should actually talk about episode 2 for a minute. So I'm just gonna pull up some stills from it, because it was called Inside Man.
You
and
still
this
my
is,
heart.
Yes.
Maybe this is the wrong still to pull up.
Oh no.
I love
For
this
it.
shot. The symmetry of the arches,
Mm-hmm.
and them standing side by side is just what a beautiful shot.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I want to just reiterate about this show in general is everybody knows the assignment, everybody has done their homework, and everybody's doing what they do exceptionally well. I don't really think that there's any aspect that's really dragging in this. I think the writing's really good. I think the cinematography is very good. I think the acting is great. You know what I mean? It's got all these, they're toeing the line, baby. That's all we want from our entertainment, is like the people to just like do their jobs and do them well. And when everybody does that, you get a great product.
And it pulls at your hearts. The
Mhm.
opening of this latest episode. This episode gave a little bit more to Vic, and seeing the dynamic between him and Oz versus the last 2 episodes. Now, granted, I love the pilot. I think the pilot's great. I thought episode 2 was okay, because it's something that it kind of helped the story move along, and I thought episode 3 peaked again. So I think we dipped a little bit with episode 2. Not that it's a bad episode,
No, yeah,
but I think it's out of the 3 of them so far, I don't think it's the least in the row for me. It would be go 1, 3, and 2.
yeah. We said this might happen, right? Where I think everyone on this panel pretty much gave this episode a 9, the pilot a 9 or 9.5. And I think to me, episode 2
Yes.
was like somewhere between like an 8 and 8.5 for me, and again, saying an episode or giving an episode an 8 or 8.5, even a high 8, something close to a 9, it's not a bad thing. If that's your lowest score, then holy crap, you've got an amazing show or amazing season on your hands that you should be very proud about. And like Sammy said, everything is firing on all cylinders so far for this show, and that's all we want. Okay, Kaida.
Yeah, you're not here. Sorry, man. Get to bed. Your thoughts on it. Hi, Zax. I saw you popped in.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hi, Zach.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Hi,
Gooch, I'm on top of you today.
Oh, phrasing. Yeah.
What a change of pace.
Look at this,
Yeah.
Gooch. We got a Zach sandwich.
Yeah,
Go
we got
back
a
and
Zach
forth,
sandwich.
Sammy.
Yeah.
I'll be the meat.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh.
Why not? Sorry, I'm late, guys.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Everybody was late.
Yeah.
Well, not Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy was the only one that was on time. But Sammy.
That's why
was
everyone
on
lets me
time.
fall asleep on their shows. I'm very punctual.
Yes. With oh, go ahead, Zax.
I say I couldn't find the YouTube link for this to promote it. I was trying to.
I just republished it. It for some reason
okay.
got unlisted. I don't know how that happened, but we should be up and running because I see comments coming in from YouTube on it.
Yeah.
I will say though, episode 2 Inside Man is very dark. Again, HBO, learn how to fucking light your nights, please. Just like for somebody TV that bad. So Inside Man, after a shipment of drops get taken by the Maronis during the transfer, the Falcone suspect a rat inside of their own organization. Luca has taken over, who is Sophia's uncle, as the head of the family. Oz tries to do some quick thinking to throw suspicion on someone else, which works surprisingly at the end, which I feel like there's a little bit of a fairy tale writing going on there for a minute there. I was like, that's too easy. And at the end of the episode, he eventually gets Sophia to trust him, at least with this new shipment of drugs that are coming in for the next one.
I don't know. I liked that scene actually, because you would expect them to drop it into BD's pocket, which that would have been very obvious. So just to like frame Sophia's guy,
that was brilliant. I thought
it is very contrived.
Instead of blaming Johnny right off the bat, like instead of trying, because that's where I thought they were going. I was like, oh, he's gonna get rid of Johnny this way, but instead, that's pretty. By the way, sometimes when he looks or talks, I see Colin Farrell. Just sometimes just certain looks.
The Irish slips through.
But it's a smart move too, because that's Sophia's top guy. So she's not the most popular person in the Falcone crime family. So to isolate her and have her feeling more isolated, it gives them a giant to topple together. And, so he's a master manipulator, and they've done a great job showing that.
Can I talk about something earlier? Sorry, I want to go back. Please, I want to bring something up to give the show a ton of credit, if I can. The when their armored truck, after it crashes, this show does a fantastic job of just showing you stuff and not explaining to you what it is, and they trust their audience enough to not have to repeat it. But there's a shot, an upshot, not an upskirt shot exactly, but like an upshot of Penguin standing up after he's been knocked over, and they make sure to show his prosthetic on his leg, so you're reminded, he can't just, he's going to have a limp, so that's in your mind immediately without telling you, I have to limp, or showing us some big over. It was just one split second. They made to show it from that angle. You could see it, the brace, and then right. So if you don't remember as an audience member, they didn't tell you. It's like, remember this, and that's good enough. I like that a lot.
Yeah, they're really good at building tension.
Yes,
that's what they're good at. You could feel it flowing up to a boiling point, and then it just, you get to that moment and you're just like, holy shit, you're in a situation where it's like, if you do this decision, you're kind of gonna fuck yourself. You do that decision, you're also gonna fuck yourself. What is Oz doing? Like, it's really good at that.
Yeah, I think it's ironic that was a FEMA truck.
yes.
Fucking disaster.
I have a question for the panel. So was he born with that handicap that he has with his foot, or because I don't recall him limping so much in the Batman? I was wondering if it was in that scene where the Batmobile like pit maneuvers him and he flips his car that he smashed his foot up.
He was,
Good
but it
question.
wasn't as
Wasn't as prominent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is he this much of a master manipulator in the comics?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's good at what he does.
The thing about the Penguin is he lets everyone else do his dirty work. He's it's a chessboard for him. Like he'll use he'll get people to work for him, and he like puts them in certain situations, and he's really good at that. He is like a mob boss in a way.
Yeah. The way that I always kind of figure it is Oswald is smarter than Bruce Wayne, but strategically speaking, but he'll never believe it for himself because he's got an enormous chip on his shoulder, and that's always his undoing. Is you know what I mean?
He's an emotional thinker.
Yeah, he is.
The Penguin?
Reactor.
Not Batman?
Yeah.
And
goes
that's
into his brainstem.
smarter than Batman, but strategically he's smarter than Batman. He can set up a plan very well. It's just he doesn't believe he doesn't, because he is kind of a short little bird man.
Well, because this show doesn't make me want to read Batman. It makes me want to read Penguin. That's what it like. I want to know more about the world that he's evolved around. And I know that I know he's a villain for Batman, but if he's this much of a manipulator, I'm very curious to see how it translates from the comics.
I love that you like come to a lot of people only read Batman for the villains. I mean, he's got he's always in the top for the best rogues gallery. So I mean, people you might come for Batman, you stay for the villains. That's.
And I like that we also get a little bit of Sophia in this. I know she's supposed to be based off the Hangman, but earlier in this episode, it's alluded to that she had killed, I think, 7 women overall. Is that similar to in the or 9 women or 13? Whatever. It's all women, regardless.
Yeah. Is
there a reason why?
I don't think
theorize
killed
why
anybody. Actually, I think they just framed her and just threw her ass in Arkham. To be honest,
interesting.
Because
you even hear that in episode 3. When Oz says that to Victor, like, yeah, don't believe everything you hear, kid.
Yeah,
I'm curious if they're gonna like paint her as the holiday killer, like that. Like they're just framing it differently. I'm just curious if that's kind of a version of their Long Halloween. Put this
How
way.
How would it translate to this world? Because this world is different than just the comic book world.
Mm-hmm. I think that Alberto was still the holiday killer, and they just pinned the murders on her.
Could have been. That's why he visited her.
Yeah. Well, and also
tough.
Sophia's obviously very, very
Tougher.
smart, and she's tougher. She's built different. Alberto was, kind of like a party boy. He didn't think he was gonna amount to, what his father was, and stuff like that. I see him being more of the type who would kill people on a whim like that and not plan it out. And
look how fast he pulled his gun on Oz.
Yeah, exactly. So he seems to have a little bit more of that in him.
That's a trust factor, though. That's more of caught in a situation where they're both in the iceberg lounge, and there was like they're playing each other out. Like there was a lot of feeling going on back and forth. So that was kind of predictable. I didn't think Oz would kill Alberto, but like it's tough because we don't have Mario in this. We don't have Harvey Dent, and what's her name? It's not Agatha. What's her name?
Not Agatha.
I forget Harvey Dent's wife, but like we don't have those pieces in this. So like I'm just wondering if they're just kind of taking those pieces and melt, like because they kind of blend Alberto with Mario a little bit.
Yeah,
in this series.
Oh, because there's another brother, right, in the comic.
Yeah,
Two brothers.
Alberto's sent to like Ivy League schools. I think Mario was sent to it wasn't Oxford, but he was sent to like some school, and then he was sent to Alberto was actually sent to Italy because of the mistakes he was doing in Gotham.
So how do you think it's gonna, if she is the hangman, if that's what they're relating her onto, what it would be her reasoning behind killing 13 women?
Well, that's where I think it's a yearly thing, one for every month, and then she got caught in the like after the 1 year.
But what's the reason behind it? Is it because
I don't know. I'm just
Oh.
speculating. I'm just kind
okay.
of throwing shit against the wall and see if it sticks. Like
Yeah,
I think Victor turns into Victor's ass. I truly see that developing.
I see that developing now, especially after episode 3, with him cutting
Yes.
ties to anything he had outside of Oz at this point. His girlfriend's gone. All he has is Oz. So this is the world he's decided to live in.
Well, you see that PTSD kick in, where I think the worlds start to blend. And I think that's where, because Victor Zsasz has that, where he just doesn't know what reality truly is, and so I think we're going to see Victor kind of become that.
Yeah.
With the PTS flashbacks during the
Yes,
club
and
scene.
like a lot of emotional trauma, like a lot of stress. Like he's constantly stressed out. Like he's on edge. He's walking on eggshells every scene he does. I know Erwin was saying he doesn't like the character. I'm like, how do you not like the character? Like you're seeing the Penguin with a disability mentor another young individual with a disability, and you're seeing him being mentored. He was mentored by Sophia and by the family, and even with the lighter scene, like Victor goes to light the lighter and he can't light it, and she's like, "Oh, you're a mechanic, you don't know how to use the lighter." And then at the end of the episode 3, you see, Oz take the lighter on right away. He gets it. So that's what I mean. Like, there's so many layers to these episodes that you're seeing. You're going to see the development of Victor eventually, light the lighter. He'll become that individual, I think.
I think I'm with you on it. I wasn't before Gooch. I was like, nah, there's no way. But now just with that and the PTSD and just the cutoff to the world, and then just Oz seeing himself in this guy, I guess, yeah.
Well, I think Oz will be horrified when he makes the full jump to Victor Zsasz. But I also think the second he gets like the taste for, because Victor Zsasz is a prominent serial killer in Gotham. I think once he gets the taste for it and figures out, I think he's going to lose his stutter.
I also think that Sophia being a factor in the killing of the women, that's going to play a part for Victor, and those two are going to blend in somehow, and that's why he becomes Victor Zsasz. And I'm kind of wrong. I think Oz is going to keep him in his pocket, having a weapon like that's like willing to kill at any whim of the day. Like, I think that's a piece that Victor or Oz is going to keep. He's going to be like, I think he's going to be kind of taken back a little bit, but he's going to be like, this is a piece I can use for later on.
So this is the Hangman from the DC comics, is that right? You guys know?
Well, no, it's that's not the Hangman Killer. The Hangman Killer was just the character in the Long Halloween. That's what they were calling the murderer before.
It was a holiday killer, I thought.
Yeah, it was the holiday killer. But the Hangman, they were calling him the Hangman first.
Does the holiday killer kill on the holiday on the month?
Yes.
Oh, so it's themed like Valentine's Day, like
Calendar Man?
Calendar Man is another one. He's actually in the Long Halloween as well, but that's Julian Day.
He's not really significant in any of the books, really. I don't think Calendar Man kills. I just think he's more of he robs places on holidays, and it's all holiday themed. He's kind of like a big box store killer, or a big box store criminal. He's not violent. He's nowhere near as violent and sadistic as like someone like Zsasz. I don't even know if this is a Batman villain, to be honest. There is a Hangman.
There's two I'm looking at right now. This is Robert Dickering is his name, and this other guy is Thomas Quigley. Are different versions of the same character, it looks like.
Thomas Quigley's from the Batman universe, I believe. That name sounds familiar. It's not ringing a no.
I was going to say this is probably like okay. I know that costume a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if this was a real villain, and if the Hangman was a villain, why he killed people,
Dude.
like, what his motivation was.
The Batman Rogue Gallery is massive.
Yeah.
Like, it's like there's so many villains. Like it's great.
Yeah.
Well, weren't they competing with Marvel? Like, if Marvel had a certain type of villain, they would have some, or vice versa.
Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man has a great Rogue Gallery, and so does Batman. Those are the two that have great villains.
Well,
Yeah.
but some people think that that's just a myth. I was like, once you get into so many years of continuity, you're going to get some like overlap with ideas. It's like just parallel thinking. It's like, because a lot of people think that Deadpool is based off Deathstroke, and the creator has come out many times saying like that's not true. That's headcanon.
Harley Quinn is a female version of Deadpool.
Stuff like that. When it's not the case.
Fourth wall stuff. You had Captain Marvel in DC, and you had Captain Marvel in Marvel. You had like a lot of
Fawcett comics first, but
yeah.
Looks like this one was a JMS.
Or no, that's Charlton. Or was it Charlton or Fawcett? No, it's Charlton. It was Fawcett because after he came to DC, they named the city he protects Fawcett City. Never mind.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get rid of this. I was just wondering if there's a
fine.
tie-in anywhere. I want to see if there was a reason this Hangman would have been doing that shit, because it was a J. Michael Straczynski character, I guess.
No, I truly do think that Sophia being the Hangman killer is going to be one of the red herrings in the show. I don't think she killed anybody. I think she's too smart to do stuff like that. She's definitely like a Machiavellian type character, and I don't see her getting her hands dirty. I think that's why she's so
I disagree.
I disagree. Yeah. Disagree.
I think and because they've done so well at translating this to almost in a real world sense, it's not your standard like Tim Burton Batman, that it could work. It could work having her as the Hangman or Calendar Man or whatever, taking bits of that storyline and adding it to the series. I don't think it's a red herring.
I think it was her and her brother. I think they worked together, and I think that she took the fall for it. I think there was like multiple players in this involved, and she took the hit for the family. So again, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but
are they talking about this potentially being a season 2 for this after the next Batman movie?
They haven't said anything yet. It just leads right into the next Batman movie. So,
oh man, the way they're going, I'm really excited for the next Batman movie. Then, because
I know, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, this is like masterclass stuff. Like, the reason why I say it's her and her brother, because when she takes them to the storage units and they're looking at the Bliss, and she's like, she made that comment. Well, you said you were talking to my brother. Yeah, and he goes, well. Yeah, it's kind of like hinting like her and her brother talk about everything and do everything. It was kind of hinting at that. That's why I think her and her brother were working hand in hand and killing.
Well, the flashback at Arkham where he's the only one that came to visit her too.
Yep.
I'm so intrigued by her. She's such a well-written female character, like a woman character.
Yes.
I'm sure all the gentlemen on the panel are, even Chris probably. But she's just
heavily married.
She's not a Mary Sue. She is in a sense like a girl boss, but there's depth to her. She's experienced some trauma. That, she's obviously the black sheep of the family. Her brother seems to be the only one that really cared about her. So like there's depth to her. There's reasons behind her actions versus just giving her the ability just to outsmart everyone.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
She's not new to this.
And she's you get a real sense that like she has grown up in this city that they're portraying, and it's like, Marvel, take notes. This is how you build.
Never gonna happen
with the show. Okay, you don't use it to introduce new characters. I mean, inevitably that's going to happen. You do that to expand on the world that you're trying to build, and that's what the show is doing so well here.
Well, the great thing about this is you don't have to watch The Batman to understand what's going on, which I love. Like, you can to get an idea, but you don't have to. And I'm curious to see if you'll have to watch this to kind of understand what's going on in the sequel. I would hope not.
Yeah, you can totally pick up
She,
on what happened in the Batman just by watching this.
Mhm.
she has an elegance about her, and like I said, she has that
She's
Audrey Hepburn look to her. Like she just really her acting
Breathe,
in this
Gooch.
is just I can't. There's a lot of blood flow going in certain areas right now. So I mean,
Dude,
like
episode 3 too.
oh
Damn.
man, yeah. Oh,
I loved this scene in this episode too, where she's talking to her cousin, and her cousin treats her like, "Hey, what we used to have girls' nights in Italy and stuff." And then when her daughter comes around, she treats
Carla.
her as if she's like a villain in this, like there's something seriously wrong. And I love this dynamic because it pushes more the story that she is the black sheep of the family. Like, nobody really wants to be around her. They're just being cordial because this is her brother's funeral.
It's like, why would she be so afraid of just fixing like a hair bob in her hair? Right? Like, she's not doing something that's maniacal, but it is that fear. Like, no, don't touch my daughter. And it's like, what are you afraid of? The way she looks up at her, I was like, damn.
yep.
Woman got her
Yeah,
eyes.
this part.
I can fix it.
That's what Kyle said.
She's got
I
a way
I
about.
don't know if men are her thing, guys. I kind of get a sense that men might not be her thing.
She
I don't think
would
that
after
any-
the gooch.
Ah,
She would be into that after the gooch.
I think power's her thing.
Yeah. Yes. I think. Well,
Which
it's interesting.
is
I don't. Why
Don't
would
know.
she want power for a family that doesn't really care about her to begin with? She literally could just go to Italy and live the rest of her life probably very comfortably.
She doesn't want that. She's been shunned, and like
Is this revenge though?
it might be. I don't think she'd be so petty. I think she knows, that oftentimes she probably is the smartest person in the room, and she's had to listen to these D-bags fumble through life and drop the ball on many occasions when she knows the game better than they do, because she's coming at these people with good criticisms where going like, we're not retaliating, this makes our family look weak, and they're not getting the picture. They're not meant to lead. They don't understand how the game is played, and like with organized crime, and when you're playing that mafia game, it's all about respect, and if you're losing respect, you're losing ground. People are going to start coming in on your territory, and people are going to start messing with your operations because they think you're weak. That's just how it is. They talked about it with the Chinese triad where, Carmine Falcone was smart enough to get the triad out of his areas because he didn't want the competition. That's why they're surprised that she's bringing them in, because, before they kicked them out, because they didn't want them in their territory. Their territory. They have territory. So she understands this. VD, all those other guys, they don't. They just like to be the big dick swinging, and that doesn't make a good boss. That doesn't keep you on top. It gets you killed, to be honest.
Does she? It's very interesting to me that she did not get selected as. Gooch gotta go. All right, Gooch, plug yourself. Where are you?
Well, you don't. I don't need to plug myself. I just want to quickly say, no. I agree with Sam. Like, they're abusing the name of the Falcone name, and she sees them dropping the ball multiple times, and she knows how she could use that power correctly. Plus, the loss of her brother is a really significant piece of why she wants to retaliate against the family. So, but I gotta go. I'm sorry. You guys have a great stream. I wish I could stay. I'm really, really, really upset. I gotta go.
You're all good, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
stopping by.
Better Gooch.
Take care, guys.
Bye, Gooch.
You guys.
Get easy.
Yes.
Why wasn't she selected to lead the family? Why did it
They
go
think
from
she's
her brother to her
Yeah,
uncle?
she just got to the asylum.
Yeah, she's they think she's
What, crazy women can't lead?
No.
No, but that's another reason that I think it's a red herring, is because she is
learned that.
so smart and put together. But what a great way to get her out of the picture when you have other people gunning for that seat than to label her as a crazy person and get her locked away for a couple of years. Usually, prolific serial killers don't get out of asylums on good behavior. Like that's just.
Unless you have
I'm just that's just an observation. I'm you know I know nothing of Gotham's legal system, but I know other legal systems, and usually if you kill 13 people with a noose, they're not letting you out. I don't care if it's been a decade or not.
Yeah, you're in for life if you don't get killed in the process by public execution.
Yeah.
So the death penalty.
Well, and I think you're close, and to bring it full circle to really complete your point there, Sammy. Not only does it get her out of the way, it completely just discredits her going forward.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to also talk about in this episode Johnny, because I feel like he plays the same character from House of Cards on this show, which is I'm totally cool with. He's a big thorn in my side. I don't know. I don't vibe with his character very much. I get it. He's the underboss, but why is he the underboss? Is this a character that's translated from the comics? In the
I can't. I don't think that he is. I think So a lot of these with the big mob families in Gotham's, there, it's kind of like trickled out. The big top important ones. I wouldn't be surprised if this character is just for the show, but boy, does he play the dick well.
He does. And sleeping with the boss's wife, oof, that's a big dick move.
Yeah, but that perfectly goes to show what I'm talking about. It's being mismanaged from the top down. You shouldn't be the boss of the organization, and someone is feeling comfortable enough to even make a move like that on you. You know what I mean? You need to be feared to be on top.
I agree.
I like that he kind of gets his upcoming in the next episode. There's one more scene I want to talk about in this episode, and we'll move on to episode 3, is the Oz and Vic scene where he's burying the guys, and there's back and forth between Oz and Vic. Basically Oz saying like he doesn't think you're man enough for this job, like you might as well be one of those bodies that they're burying. Yeah. And I like this because Oz to me is very bipolar with Vic. And it's a tactic that manipulators use where you love bomb somebody, you treat them well, you give them money, give them a place to stay and stuff, and then when they don't do what you want, then you're the opposite, right? You don't want nothing to do with them. I'm not a psychologist, but this just in theory on this, what I've read. And you just you want to hurt them. You want them to, in a sense, disappear. And he's very bipolar with Vic. Mm-hmm. Part of me is like, do you want to be a father figure to this kid or you do not? Is this how your father treated you? Maybe this is how he grew up with his brothers. Maybe we'll get a little bit more background, but thoughts on this scene?
I think he wants Vic to succeed, but he wants him to succeed his way. I think that's what it really boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Nick?
Yeah, I think it was a great scene overall, but I definitely agree with the bipolarism. And I think it's, Oz wanting Vic to learn the way he learned, the way he knew how to come into the form that he is now. It's like, not necessarily like my way or the highway, but like learn from me because look where I am now. And as he finds out in episode 3 that he was Sophia's driver 10 years ago, it's like, this is exactly where Vic is now. So follow my footsteps and maybe he'll go places, sort of thing. So, but there was a split second where I thought, like, he can't kill him here because that would just be like too soon. And that doesn't seem like the right thing to do for the character of Victor. But just the fact that he's scaring the bejesus out of him was definitely on point. I think it definitely hit the target. So
yeah, I agree. Zax?
I think it was a reminder, don't get too comfortable or remember who you're dealing with, and stay on your toes because he slipped up, and you wanted to remind him of what happens when you make mistakes in this game, I think. And then I think also it was a bit of a loyalty test, like, will he lay down?
Life or death.
Interesting, because To me, when I rewatched the episode at first, the first watch through, I'm like, there's nothing this kid can do. Like, what do you expect him to do? He gets caught, he's got to run. But
Right.
in Oz's mind is like, you got to find a way around it. I always find a way around it, and you see that in the last 3 episodes. Anytime Oz is in the corner, he's able to get out of it. So he's expecting the same thing from Vic, and I think that's where his anger comes from in this scene too. Is where I would have figured it out. Why can't you figure it out? I know you're a smart kid.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough love, like he's not coming from a place of, even though he constantly says, I'm gonna gut you like a fish, which I think is really funny because it's the penguin.
Yes.
But he was raised in a world where you get by strong arming people and intimidation, but he's not really coming from a place. He's not saying these things because he wants to hurt the kid. Actually, he wants the kid to be better because he sees a bit of himself in there. But he also, it doesn't appear that he was coddled, especially when you get those scenes of when he was talking to his mother, and the way that she was talking to him when she was lucid, like she seemed to be very, very cutthroat herself. So I maybe this is Oz's love language.
Oh man. That would be awful.
That's a doozy to mull over. But
and there's also cultures that do something like that as a rebirth, as a second life, or this is your new, you come out as a new person. And so it could have been a miniature part of that. I'm not saying that's what I think, but they could be going for that.
Every time
Old
I
life,
see
new life.
Every time I see Oz on the screen, all I can think of is like, holy cow, it's my dad, even down to the bipolarness. Chris, right?
I mean, a pinch on occasion, but I think overall, when it comes to episode 2, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of everybody here on scoring things. I probably score it a full point lower actually than the pilot episode. I think again it just suffers from the pilot just being absolutely outstanding, but I think there was a lot of really great story moments. All the sets looked amazing. I think the way they kind of resolved the issue of episode 2, just kind of off-screen Deus Ex Machina style. We were talking kind of before the show. It's a TV show, not a podcast. Show me, don't tell me. I think there was a real missed opportunity, and that was just kind of like, oh look, he wins because he does. I mean, I guess it's a very Batman thing to do, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does feel very super villainy, so to speak. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and what I was agreeing with you earlier is like there's ways to fix that, and just like there's a couple lines of throwaway dialogue that you could put in there. But I mean, because the first time they did it to get him out of when he's being tortured at the Falcone home, like that made sense because you saw him planning with Vic first. Like you knew Vic had a job to do. You just didn't know what that job was. But this other one where, Vic just happened to be in town with Oz's car, that is pretty contrived. But, moments like that do happen in real life.
Well, let's get into Bliss. We want to go down the line, just give our final score on this episode, and we'll get into Bliss on this one. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm right, like a 8.5, 85, maybe like 87. I don't know, something like that.
I forgot percentage. Okay, all right,
something like that. Whatever you want to decimal point or percentage, doesn't matter to me.
Sammy,
I can't remember what I rated episode 1. I think I gave it a 9.5. So I would give this either like an 8.5 or a 9. Like it was still strong enough where I was still very excited to come back and see what was going to go on in episode 3. So I mean, they're keeping the hype going, but I can't imagine they're all going to be as masterfully done as the pilot, and is what it is. Still very strong though. So yeah, I give it like an 8.5. That feels good.
Okay. Zax?
Yeah, I would say 8.5 is good. To give the last one a 9. I think it's tough too because we're comparing it against itself, which is fair to do. But I guess like if this was an episode of a different show with this of the same quality, it's probably a 9, right? But it's not as good as the first episode, and so that's that. 8.5, but I did like it a lot, and it reinforced my faith from episode 1 and how the series is gonna be handled, and how future series like this, whether or not it's a Penguin series, could be and should be handled.
Yes, it felt like very much old school HBO, Sopranos, Deadwood, The Wire, like where they actually put the time and effort into the writing and giving it depth. Chris, do you remember The Inside Man?
What do you mean? No.
Episode 2, what would you rate?
Oh, no, I said, did I remember it? I'm like, what do you mean by that? Sorry. Would I rate it? Yeah, I guess I probably rated it, like I was saying earlier, like a full point lower. So I probably put it at like an 8. Like I said, it wasn't a bad episode. Again, just repeating myself, it suffers from the pilot being, just absolutely epic. But I think it was a little Deus Ex Machina, and I'm afraid we're gonna see. I'm hoping it's not setting a tone for just that being the solution for everything going forward.
Chris, have you ever been inside a man?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
I mean, does myself count?
No.
Oh, then no.
Okay. Second.
You guys are all very generous. I would actually give this a 7.
Wow.
Wow.
So the writing is good. Oh, hold on. Troublemakers here. Hi, Kata.
Troublemaker is crazy. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I wanted to jump in real quick because I'm stuck in traffic. So I was like, okay, I could talk a little bit now.
You're in
I was about
Florida?
to say-
Just kidding.
I gave episode 2 a 7 out of 10. The reason, and I have reasons. One, it's not the strongest of the 3. I knew it was going to have to be. I don't like the word filler. I don't think it's a filler episode, but I knew it had to be an episode to kind of move the story along, especially to get to the point of the new shipment, how Oz and Sophia's relationship was going to be. So to me, it didn't have as much, I don't know, risk or pizzazz as the first episode, but it episode 3 has a higher rating. So I think it just dipped just a little bit just because of the pacing and just getting the story moving. And episode 3 is a little bit higher on that one. But Kata, what do you give episode 2?
I think I'm kind of like the same as everybody else, like in between an 8.5 and a 9. Like, 'cause
Okay.
it's really good. I like how they progress the story, especially like there were a lot of y'all saying you didn't like the part with the penguin dropping the knife in the dude's like coat jacket pocket. I thought that was excellent. I'm like, yeah, yes, get out of it like this. This is cool. Like, oh, how is Oz going to get out of it this week, kind of thing. Like, I kind of like that storytelling. I like that he didn't put it in VD's jacket and he put it in the other dude's jacket because it just makes him able to manipulate Sophia more because that's her number one guy. So now she doesn't have anybody, and Oz can just slide in on that real quick. So I like that, and then I like the end of the episode with him and Victor in the grave. That was really good. It's like showing like, hey, Oz is trying to help this guy and show him all these things, but he's still a bad guy. He's not a good person at all. And the way that they set things up and the way that they conclude, like at the beginning of the episode during the little heist, he does save the guy's life who he ends up getting killed at the end of the episode.
That's
So
right.
it's like that's really good. That's like really good storytelling. And I mean, it's hard because like you said, the pilot is just fantastic. Like, it's one of the best pilots I could ever remember. Like, it's really, really good. So it's hard to compete against yourself, but it's still like it's on the level. Like, it's not right with the pilot, but it's right under it. So it's like, it's right there on the level. I really like it. I like it a lot, and I can't wait. Oh, episode 3, and I got to get a still of Sophia. I got to put it on my wall.
No,
I
Chris. No, Chris.
No, I'm okay.
All right. Well, then episode 3 is titled Bliss. We, at the end of episode 2, Sophia and Oz have now formed an alliance. We're finally going to find out what the new drop shipment drug is. A lot of people assumed it was going to be Bane's, what I think it's called Venom, right?
Yes.
Comic book. Okay. And it turned out not to be, which is okay. I kind of like that this is a new drug. I actually looked up because I was curious to know if Bliss actually exists.
Wait, people were really theorizing about that?
Yeah,
Well,
they really thought it was
gonna be Bane
Bane's.
Venom?
Yeah, they thought it was going to be Bane's Venom.
That wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense at all. That would be like, hey, we're gonna stop selling heroin and give people steroids.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing Bliss on the Penguin and Bliss in the DC
Get it together,
Comics share is the name. The drug was first introduced in Titans 26 in 2010, written by Eric Wallace. It was created by a drug lord named Elijah, who crafted a hallucinant out of hormones secretion of pre-adolescent children. So,
Adrenochrome.
so that's what Bliss in the comics was originally. I kind of like this, the mushroom scene, really cool. But anyway, I digress. We open up with a little bit of a background on Vic, and I thought this was a great opener for this episode. To me, I would have liked this to be in 2. I think it would have made 2 a little bit higher on the rating for me, but I nearly cried at this opener before the beginning. Watching this poor kid, you get to see a bit of his normal life, and then watching him basically watch his family die. It's great. I mean, it's not great, but it's great writing and storytelling.
Yeah.
Well, you also get the impact of like actually what the Riddler really did in
yes,
because in the movie you only see that water rushing through, and you see people going to the stadium to seek shelter, but like,
which was
you're
dumb.
Like, oh, that's right. Plenty of people being pancaked by that water.
Ballsy move keeping it in, because normally things like this, especially since the hurricane hit and now we've got another one on the way, they would like edit and remove this stuff or change it up in some way.
It's been a crying shame because it's so integral to.
It's so good.
I mean, it's crazy the similarities of this movie and the show that are happening in real life, and obviously, like, there's definitely comparisons to other major cities in real life that compare to Gotham City, especially over recent years, unfortunately. But I won't name them. I'm sure we all know what they are, but it's crazy, and I love the fact that we got this civilian view as opposed to like the view from what Batman and everyone in the arena are looking at. And I mean, yeah, it was tough to kind of watch, because it's like you watch all these videos on social media and just seeing literally floods wiping out and killing people. So it's I honestly commend them for leaving it in. It shows like they didn't want to just kind of fold over or anything like that. And obviously it's like, how would they have known that this real life tragic event would have happened? Because I'm sure this was probably filmed at least a year ago or so, right? Or put together a year prior. So it was a great opener though. Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead, Kata.
I was gonna say, actually, when I was watching this with my mom, and she hit on something that I didn't even think about. But how in the Batman, when you see this event go down, you got to remember that Bruce Wayne is a part of the higher class. So when everything that was happening in the Batman, they were showing it as a bird's eye view. So he's looking down on everybody as the water is rushing, and all these people are dying. But he is a part of this higher class, so he doesn't see it on the same level as somebody like Victor. So with Victor being down there, you get to see it firsthand. It's exactly how devastating all that stuff was, and it's like, just kind of getting into the elements of what and the themes of this universe that they're going for. And I was like, wow, that's actually a really good little detail that I didn't really think about. But I thought it was excellent, dude. It was just so like visceral and real, and it was just like you go, oh man, this is fucked up, man. He's like he can't do anything, and then the sound cut out, and they don't
Mm.
even really show you like anybody dying, but they do the little view of the water rushing in through the window. I thought it was great.
It also shows that Vic comes from a pretty good family. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
not
true.
financially, but a very loving family. He
Close,
doesn't have,
yeah.
even in the small glimpse, you just get a view of it that he might be a hard head against his dad, but you can obviously see his dad just wants the best for him, his family. It's not like an abusive drunk or anything, which is counter to what he ends up with, which is with Oz.
As a dad, that's a big
Mhm.
step forward, right?
Yeah.
In the home.
And it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's great because this is they love to talk about representation. We had a Latino dad was trying to make
Yep.
sure that his son was doing the right thing, and
Absolutely.
it impacts the rest of the episode for Victor also.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this is I don't know why they're not praising this. They should
Yeah.
be all
Well,
over it.
they also had, certain aspects where when he was talking to his girlfriend, going, I can't leave. I think he might kill me. But you're also getting the turmoil, and I loved when he looked at Oswald later on in the episode and goes, "My dad would be ashamed of me." It was like, that. So you see, and I think I said, I don't know if I said this before or backstage, but he humanizes the whole show. As a character, you can see that turmoil in him, and you can see for a number of different reasons. It's not even, oh, this guy might just kill me. He's like, oh, well, I know the path that I'm going down. My father would disapprove of this, and you see all of that stuff bouncing around in his head. It's intriguing. It's intriguing for a character like that to exist in this world.
Yeah.
Well, we get a very sad scene of him watching his family basically die from the flood happening. I felt like the very shortness of this opener. I felt like my heartstrings pulled for this kid.
Oh yeah.
I was like I said, almost in tears for this poor kid. I can't imagine, you basically blew off your family without having dinner, which I get it. That's how teenagers are. We all have been teenagers. We all have done this, especially if you have a significant other, to go hang out with kids on and he's lucky he was on the roof on top of it. And to watch it happen, that has to mess you up.
Oh yeah. Well, and also it makes his first chance encounter meeting with Oz that much more tragic because he's a young man. He probably didn't have a lot of prospects, and now you realize that like his family is gone. His entire neighborhood's been decimated. It's no wonder he was trying to steal rims off of a car.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's important to show that because he did have a path. He was doing well. He wasn't a street kid thug who was stealing rims. He's a guy who lost everything, had a path, and now on his own with no support is trying to find a way to survive day to day, and which explains his character and informs the change that may be happening with him down the road. I think it's important to see that.
Mm-hmm. Because it's, in a sense, he has still a bit of humanity in him. And I think that's going to be sucked out of him this entire season. I think little by little that's going to be chiseled away. And we are going to get, in a sense, a mini Oz, but maybe worse.
Yeah, I mean, Oz is a likable character. Oz is a fucking monster. Okay, like was like, make no mistake. They do a very good job of keeping him intriguing, showing us that he takes care of his mother and stuff like that. Oz still has people killed. Oz still runs a sleazy nightclub where all the other gangsters come to hang out. Oz is not a good guy, So rubbing off on a boy like that, phrasing, who has no other.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
who has no other options. And is in real dire straits like this. It's going to affect him, and he has a lot of psychological damage, as we see in this episode. I altogether, I don't think it's going to be very healthy for Vic here.
Hello, Gorilla Biscuits. I have not seen you around. Welcome. I feel like the Penguin is setting him up for later in the season. Writers are going to make us like him to trick us. That could be.
I
I saw Jay's
see
thing
that.
too. That his friend that he was hanging on the roof with, hanging out on the roof with, not hanging on the roof with,
Yeah.
gets killed because of Oswald.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And-
yeah, the guy that he didn't like, right? Or no, that was his cousin.
No,
His
that was
cousin.
the dude that his dad didn't like. Because
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
warned
hanging
him
out
about.
with the drug dealer.
Oh, what was
It's
his name?
so
God.
intriguing to me, Gotham. I mean, I think that's my favorite character in this series, besides the Penguin, is the actual city itself, because it feels like you are actually in a real city. This is written so well, and the different layers of knowing where these characters come from, what streets they grew up with, the people they hung out with, it plays into what their development is throughout this series, and I love that. And it allows the audience to be intelligent about it too. You don't have to lay it all out on it. Just like Sammy was saying, somebody was putting it together of this kid now had to rob somebody because he no longer had a support system, but before, like, there's layers to this. I love.
Yeah, well, it's that age old thing, not and then, because. So because his family died, he has to resort to petty crime. Because he resorted to petty crime, he met Oswald. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not and then he did this and then he did this. It's all fleshed out. It's all well written.
Yeah. I liked this scene as well, where Sophia comes over, and my favorite part of it is when she lights up the fireplace and calls it tacky.
Yeah, I thought
Because
Great.
Oz is a show off, right? Everything in here is just to present himself as like this big time
Yeah.
gangster, on the
Like a
same
mob
levels
boss.
as the mob boss, and everything is in her words, tacky. I actually really kind of like his place. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like it too. I especially like his bedroom vaulted door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. And this is the first time I think also we kind of get a conversation between Vic and Sophia as well.
Yep.
Where we find out that Oz was Sophia's driver. Which coincidentally, he killed her driver in the last episode.
Which
Driver's
also
still missing on this show.
Got him.
proves my other point. It was she had to be kind of up and coming in the family. Normally, mob wives and stuff they're kind of pedestrian. They wouldn't have a driver unless they were doing something important.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole lighter thing, because this kid's still nervous. This kid still is worried that she's going to find out that Oz was responsible for Alfonso's death. Vic just helped with the body, but I mean, he would go too.
Well, and he also thinks that she killed 13 people, so I mean that's a factor as well.
Yeah, but it's all
Yeah.
women. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be worried about
nobody
that.
And I think my theory on that might turn out to be correct. That I don't think
what-
it was her
I agree.
that did it. I really think it was Carmine that did it. And then Sophia must have did something else that Oz knew about, so that he framed his own daughter for it. Because you got to remember, in the Batman, he was choking out Catwoman too, and he said that's how he killed her mom as well. And in episode
Oh,
in episode 2, when you first see Sophia at Arkham and she wakes up, what does she start doing? She starts scratching at her neck and shit.
Right,
So it's like,
right.
Yeah,
and he's gonna be in the show as well in a flash.
she always has a neckerchief on. She's always covering her neck.
Yep.
I love
So-
her wardrobe, man. I wish I had it.
Yeah, she's
It's so
always
well done.
always covering the neck.
She's great.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love
She
it when she
makes me-
wears clothes.
She makes me want to get bangs again. That's what she makes me want to get. Women, only women would understand that.
I love her crazy eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But she's actually an innocent angel. He did nothing wrong.
It's
You
Bambi.
can't fix her.
She did nothing wrong
You
in my
can't
eyes.
fix her.
It's Bambi with the big eyes and stuff, which is just leading praise to her easily. But I like that, Kate. I didn't even think about that theory that she just way Oz just able to kind of line things up probably made her take the fall for something that she
Mhm.
didn't do. Ah, Kata, come in. Where have you been, man?
I've been on vacation this week.
Yeah.
This is the
Nobody needs
first
a
day.
vacation.
This is the
Likely
first day
story.
in like 4 days that I have not been drunk. So I'm in my good mind now.
Nice.
Still early.
But- By the way, did anybody suspect it was going to be mushrooms?
No,
No.
and I already told you my problem with this scene.
Oh, the fact that they tell Oz not to touch it, and she
just
touches
yeah.
it,
Just
just
walks
grabs
up
rips
one.
it right off.
It's
And
like,
they
what happened to
gave
the
this
whole
like,
colony that you
Yeah, that's
didn't
like
want
that was my
to
only
disrupt?
complaint. That's
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you just told him not to touch it. Yeah, hell, don't even breathe near it, and then she just ups and grabs one.
Maybe because it's hers, it's like, who cares? You know?
I also did like that, like the hippie guy was like, "What's going on, brother?" and went to shake Oz's hand, and I was just kind of like gave him a look, and I was like, "Yeah, that tracks." I don't
well,
think
it
he like.
gives again a bit of reality, like a sense of reality to this. That these guys are just, they're working. They're not like henchmen. They're just there for a job, getting shit done. It's not like a wacky, crazy scientist at the helm. It's just a normal dude who has a degree in this, who knows how to grow good mushrooms.
I hope it ties in with Scarecrow. I really do.
I
That'd be
thought
nice.
that's what they were going with. As soon as I saw
That
the-
or Hugo Strange. That would be cool too.
Yeah.
Either one.
yeah,
I love
because
it when
as
you
soon as I
see-
saw it was from Arkham, I was like, "Oh, really? There's got to be
Yeah.
something to this."
Has to be.
Anybody who has that phobia of like multiple holes next to each other, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like beehives and things. People.
No.
Not like.
That's a
Go
phobia.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
there's a
real-
phobia. I forgot what it's called. It's
I'm
like
Googling
a.
There's a
now.
phobia for everything.
Like how many holes are we
Start by
talking about?
googling multi-hole. I'm sure. It'll
Yeah, like
come
more
up.
than
Yeah.
more than two.
Yeah, trypophobia. It's
Okay.
when you have like here I'll share.
Yeah. Usually the picture of the hand that they always show, I don't like that, but I don't. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Nadia?
Mhm. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like.
I don't
that.
like this stuff. Like I don't have a phobia of it. It just but like when people see like these kind of
Mhm.
structured together, it's yeah.
A phobia of big holes, huh?
Yeah. Not holes.
Holes,
Multiple
yeah.
holes.
Yeah.
Always fear
That's
the
what
big
I get.
hose.
Always the big hose.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try these mushrooms. Not gonna lie. I'm intrigued.
I mean, from what we see in this episode, it doesn't seem like there's like a bad effect or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
hangover of
usually
some
how it
kind.
starts.
Yeah. I was like, where's the bad part about this drug? You know, they don't show us in the episode.
It's like
It's
that
a
scene in Walk
sedative.
Hard. It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well,
You
the weird thing
can't
is
get
everyone
addicted to it.
is in this bliss, but it's the guy, it's the bag man who has this weird PTSD moment from like the bass and the rattling
Oh,
in
that
the
was
club that's
that was such a
affected.
good visual.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Oh,
well,
yeah,
great
that
cinematography
scene,
there.
my heart like sank for that kid. Where I was just going like, dude, get up.
and I could understand like the triggering effect because I mean, you know, I've been in plenty of rock bands, been like plenty of clubs. I know like how loud and how terrible the bass can affect you in some cases.
Oh yeah.
And you know, especially if you've been super wasted or if you've been high, you know, or if you're into other types of you know, drugs, but it can definitely have that effect on you. But the fact that it doesn't, or rather that Victor didn't take anything, it hits him. It's like, man, I felt really bad for him in that moment because it's like, you know, it's almost like his moral compass is being shaken in that moment. He's like, I'm not supposed to be here. I know we're jumping ahead, but just
You're
a
fine.
great scene. Like I felt bad for him.
Well, I was worried that he accidentally like.
Lost him.
Well, not even lost him. Well, I was like, I was worried for that because they were all over the floor, and I was like, oh, people are
Yeah.
going to start snagging
Yeah.
those. He's going to
Totally,
get
Jay.
killed. But I was worried that like one of the jars had broken and he had somehow absorbed it.
Got it.
and
Yeah.
So you know he's had all this terrible shit happen to him. So like if you're taking hallucinogens and you don't know, and you're not in the right headspace for that, and you've got a lot of trauma, like I could totally see that triggering something as well. So, but I
Absolutely.
mean, you know, PTSD works too. I mean,
Sorry about that. For some reason, a video was playing. I agree with both of you on it. That was a very impactful scene, similar to the opening of it. I felt really bad for him. But I also thought there's a lot of people dancing on that dance floor. Why aren't any of those bottles smashed?
Right.
That was my.
I thought that.
I
Too.
thought, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna all get crushed. Roxy's
But-
like, what are you doing?
So his girlfriend comes back in the picture, which is for just a brief moment, and they talk about running away with each other. And Victor has a dilemma of, do I leave? And I get it. At this point, he feels his life is threatened, right? I think the Penguin would kill him if he had stepped away. At this moment, like, I understand later on, Oz just kind of lets him go. But up until this moment, 100%, Oz has been threatening him the whole time that if he's not putting his weight around, then I'm going to dispose of you. He was going to dispose of him in the first episode too.
Right.
So this poor kid has to figure it out. But
I definitely
Sophia's
think
description
Oz
of
would have
it-
whacked him.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
crazy.
I don't know. Sometimes the way he looks at him.
Yeah,
That's
true.
true.
I also liked this scene moment, the dinner scene between the two of them.
Oh, I love
And
that.
throughout
That was my favorite
this-
part of the episode.
And I think we might have skipped it, but throughout this whole episode, the Penguin and Sophia have been trying to get a meeting with the head of the
Try it.
The
triads, and they had met. Had they met his contact by this point? I think so. In the episode, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
He met one of the deputy soldiers,
yeah. Before they meet Zhao.
and Zhao requires a phone call from the underboss, which is Johnny. I like this setup. I didn't know how this was going to be paid off.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering because I felt like Oz was holding that in his back pocket, right? Like he's got a pretty nice, trump card to play, which may or may not be like not necessarily like a get out of jail free card, but something that would elevate his kind of manipulation that he's kind of talked himself into between the two families, and he tells. It's kind of funny, I guess, later on, but he tells Sophia to trust him and then reveals this card to her, which she kind of seemed fine to go along with. But I was kind of wondering where that was going to backfire on him, which I guess it does later on. So
I just like the fact that Sophia this whole time scene after he's like pulling this out, like, yeah, we have Johnny's approval. Yeah, we want to, Sophia should be leading the family and stuff. Sophia the whole time looking at him like, you're full of shit. The whole time.
Yep.
She just rolls with it though. Like she goes right into it.
Well, she doesn't expect anything more or anything less from him. That's exactly what her expectations are 100% of the time.
I like that they got pushback here, though, that it wasn't just an easy play to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this scene is another one I liked in the episode, the dinner scene or lunch scene between the two, because it looks like it's daylight between. And Oswald, I really am curious to see what kind of background story they give him in this season. If we do see a little bit more of his family, like his father, his brothers. Because to me, in this scene, he's talking to Victor as if that's his kid. Like, you gotta take space. You have to stand up for yourself. Make them wait. I don't really see this as a boss-employee relationship in this scene. I really see it as a father-son kind of thing. But I'm not a father.
I agree.
Yeah.
Zach.
Well,
It's very mentor.
Yeah, it is. It could be seen as a father-son conversation, and you could also look at it as this is the Penguin on what he would have liked to have been told when he was in this kid's place, because he really is a younger version of him in the way that he's moving up, and he was picked by somebody because of equality, same as we got with the Penguin and the guy who picked him to be a driver, and so now he's the Penguin's driver, and he's sort of he's trying to model a mini Penguin, I think, to an extent, and that is what sometimes parenting is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just see it as he sees himself in Victor a lot, and it just goes back to the disability thing, where it's like he sees him and he's like, everybody's going to be looking down on him because of something that he can't control, and he's like, well, you got to stand up for yourself, you got to do this and that, and he sees that in him, and that's why when I saw this part, I was like, yeah, that was nice. But then you have to remember, like, wait a minute, he's a shitbag, so I can't really be like too like nice on this guy. But that was a really great scene. I liked how he was just like, hey, let him finish talking. Like that was cool.
I like the way they do this the ride and talks in the car too, because what you get is you question yourself as to why is the Penguin trusting this kid so much so soon, who really is, to him it's a stray kid, but then you also kind of see later on that the Penguin is also profoundly alone, and people who have trusted him, it hasn't worked out well for them in the past, and he also, to an extent, I think he sees himself in this kid, and he also probably underestimates Victor to an extent and thinks that he's easy to control, but really he's alone all the time, and his chosen lifestyle makes it so he's probably going to stay that way, and so a little. I guess some mentoring on this side probably helps him all the way around, and it helps him excuse some of the things that he does.
Yeah, I noticed that in when we walk around his apartment, you see that card table. It looks very new, very unused, as if like nobody's playing cards with Oz. You know, like that's he likes the idea of being a popular guy and having people come over and getting respect. We know just when he told that story about the gangster, when they threw him a parade, he wants that admiration. Yes. He wants, but it's one of the real big, just like pillars in Oswald Cobblepot's like character is he never gets it, and part of the reason he never gets it is because he pushes it away. So it's like I said, they're all doing their job, man.
Right.
I agree with you because the only time people have been over at his place is when he's paid them to be, where there's some kind of benefit for them being there. He doesn't really have any friends. I mean, even when he goes to try to talk to the deputy of the triads, he has to bring alcohol. And look at the warm welcoming he got too. So it's not like he actually has friends anywhere in this.
No.
Victor honestly would be his only friend if somebody asked me who's the friend.
For sure.
Well, you also get the sense too that every time he walks in a room, like, or we get a new character, that Oz has like dicked them over in some way or fashion. Like we didn't go. We missed my favorite line of the whole show is when Sophia comes into his apartment and he's leaving, and he leaves Vic there, and he goes, "If you do anything stupid, I'll sense it."
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a dad would do.
Yeah. Very much.
You know, it's weird. I don't know why it just popped in my head too, but it's almost like Oz and Jack Sparrow are very similar. Like every person that Jack Sparrow ever met in life, there's some weird thing that he's dicked over, like someone needs something from him, or like he owes someone something, and he's always like, no, like, love, I'll give it to you. Like, don't worry, like I haven't forgotten about you. And he's like, I've totally forgotten about you. Like Oz is like, what do you mean? Like I got you the money. I'm that's just what we're here for today, And but he's met at gunpoint. It's like that's not a welcoming friend, I also think kind of like what Sammy said with the poker table. I think that was like recently purchased just for show. Like he's already in his mind thinking that I'm going to be someone important very soon. So I got to start prepping and making sure like my place looks uniform as if like I'm the guy, I'm like, my place is the place you want to be at all the time. Like we got to go to Oz's because he's got the nice, poker table, the women, the drinks, he's got the club again, but he's nothing. And no. I love it later on when Sophia just breaks him down.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's like, you're not even a made man. I was like, damn.
Oh, and that chaps his ass.
Oh, big time. And I'm like, whether or not he was showing actual tears or if he was faking it, but even then just kind of thinking like, damn, like Colin Farrell just
so good.
Earning on them waterworks like that was just great.
Well, you see it in this. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say quickly, everyone back at his place when he had that party was employed by him in some way. Like nobody's there for free.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Hey, they are earning them paychecks. I tell you that. Yeah,
Hell of a
earning
company party.
Truth.
Well, he takes out that kind of resentment, I think, from on Johnny when he's stuffing the phone down his throat too. He does
Yeah.
not like to be called a small person in a sense. He thinks everybody should be intimidated or at least impressed by him. Maybe not intimidated, but impressed by him.
Yeah, entertainment.
But he's that one friend that you just kind of keep around because he's fun at parties, but you really don't do like, friend vacations and like take them to special events kind of deal. They're just there when it's party time, like Sammy.
I get it.
I also think this is interesting because I love the conversation at this dinner scene, but they're there for a reason. The whole time I'm thinking, why is he taking him out for food? Like, they just had like some weird Slurpees in the first episode. They seem more like, hey, let's grab some burgers at on the side of the street kind of deal. And you find out it's because Luca's wife is there with one of his one of her girlfriends, and this leads to Sophia and him finding Johnny which balls on him, man, banging the boss's wife.
Yeah,
because I think he thinks he eventually will be boss. Yeah. I think that's and I liked this scene because it also shows how much Johnny just does not give a shit about Sophia. We had the other one where he's like, you need to be in Italy in 2 days or else I'm just going to tell people you're going to be in Italy in 2 days. I'm like, really? You're going to kill the niece of the boss? Just like, you just don't care. You think he has what Oz wants, that security and admiration. So I really liked this scene. Thoughts on phone sucking, I guess. I don't know.
Phone gagging.
Phone gagging.
Phone gagging.
Oh, and your phone's everywhere, and you touch it all the time. You set it down, and
yeah. Imagine if he was a germaphobe.
I hope he is. Because I hate this character.
Oh yeah, same.
I mean, I know you're supposed to, but
yeah,
he's doing his job well.
Very much.
That's a standard Canadian greeting, actually. You suck each other's phones when you meet?
Is that
what you and Gooch do when you go for burgers?
So much sucking goes on at those burger meetups.
There were no sucking in Vegas because the wives were there. Otherwise, I think Chris and Zach's would have been on their own.
Go out to the desert, suck away.
Dry heat,
Anywho.
Dry.
Very dry. Very dry.
More than dry heat out here.
I don't think this guy's going to make it maybe 2 more episodes.
Yeah, do we want to make a prediction on that? What are we going to bet? How far until he dies?
I think
if he dies.
If not the penultimate, before then. I don't think he makes it to the finale.
Yeah, I think because he has to go. There's no way they're going to trust him to keep his mouth shut from Luca. There's no way. So he has to go in some way. I think if he's not the death of the next episode towards the end, he's the following episode.
Yeah, I was thinking either 5 or 6 is when he gets killed off.
Well, 5
or 5.
Yeah, for sure.
How many episodes are in the season? Is it 8?
6, I think,
8.
isn't it? Oh, there's 8?
Mm-hmm.
8
that's better.
episodes?
That's great.
Yeah, love it.
Awesome.
It's just the same amount as House the Dragon, except this show is telling House the Dragon this is how you do a good show from start to finish so far.
Yeah.
How's the Dragon season 2?
Yeah, season 2. Well, season 1 had 10 episodes, so but
yeah,
more to work with. But.
Season 1 was infinitely better.
House of Dragon
watchability too.
Should watch this just to show how a cunning female lead should be versus the wishy-washy lesbian drama we got from season 2.
Kata, I will say in this particular scene, I am 100% team green. 100 fucking percent. Holy shit.
Right? I would do whatever she tells me. All right.
Think if they had written the redhead. I took my Targaryen flag down. I was like, I'm over this. What's her name?
Allison.
Allison. Think if they wrote Allison like they write Sophia.
She'd have been so much better.
Yeah.
Infinitely better, yeah.
I think Damon could finish if it was with her.
Brunettes always
Yeah.
have fun.
Damon really was in a castle the entire series.
In a haunted castle. the
That nigga
whole
was
fucking time.
tripping balls in a castle the whole season.
I may needed some bliss.
just remember watching it going like, can we leave the castle now? This is
Jesus.
Luigi's
That
haunted
face,
castle.
yeah.
He kind of like legit looks a little worried here.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Was like, you said you weren't going to push.
Well, I don't think he expected
what are you
Oz
doing?
to do this.
Yeah.
Like he thinks he is bulletproof because he thinks Oz is a peon. Like
Yeah.
they just keep him on just for no reason, and he doesn't think this is not a side of Oz that he's shown before to the bosses. Remember episode 1 where he's like, "I make myself feel small. They make themselves big. Everybody goes home. We're happy." So
He
this
knew
is
this
a
was
side
coming.
of him.
Yeah. And what is
He
he
knew
saying?
this was coming.
to her? He's saying things like, you know, you basically framed Sophia. You know what I mean? So, like, I
Yep.
really do think that Sophia being the hangman is a red herring.
Well, I think it's pretty interesting too. Number one, because in this scene, as he's doing this, to Johnny, she's just standing there like
Yeah, she's just watching.
she's
Smoking
watching.
a
She kind of like,
cigarette.
yeah, her eyes kind of go up for like 1 second. She's like, and I'm like, so she's completely unfazed by this because number one, I know she hates this dude, and probably wouldn't give a shit if he died right here. Although it probably wouldn't work to their plan. Excuse me, but also that she kind of sees a little bit more of what Oz would do or could, like the lengths that he can or would go to. But also, I'm like, man, is she just obviously she's just not fazed by death whatsoever. And we've already seen people killed in front of her. So, and she's not afraid to do it herself. But I kind of wondered if later on she's the one that ends up killing him or asks Oz to finish maybe what he started in this particular scene. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird thought that I had at the moment.
Wouldn't it be weird if they asked Sophia what happened to Johnny and she goes, "Oh, last I heard he went to Italy."
That would be dope. That would be dope.
Hire me, writing team. I've got good ones.
Definitely do.
While smoking a cigarette.
Yes. I love this club scene, and I love that he's wearing white. It's
That so fitting. Her outfit though, as well in this club scene here is
It's great. I love it.
impeccable.
with
Especially
the
this-
corset with the under. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was looking to see because sometimes with shows like this, they'll list out like this certain item, like designer clothing and stuff. Because I'm like, I would like to find dupes for the stuff like this because I'm sure this stuff is expensive.
Whoever's been coming up with her wardrobe deserves a fucking A.
They deserve all the monies.
I just like to think she wore her own clothes into work. I like to think she walks around looking that good all day long.
She just opens up her own closet and is like, this,
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yep.
I just love this. Oh, it's
Okay.
so cool.
What part are you talking about, Nadia?
Sophia's the
Oh,
whole
okay.
outfit. The whole.
Is Oz
outfit.
looking right down at him? I mean, like-
I wouldn't blame him.
that's
I mean-
right.
When women wear, well, never mind. I was good. Never mind. Never mind. I
No,
don't
go
wanna
on.
Stop while you're ahead.
Yes, Krista. So in the club scene, they are basically testing out Bliss which I thought this was going to be some sort of, I don't know, like a heroin high, but this seems very much like a sedative, similar to, I guess, mushrooms. Mushrooms are kind maybe more like weed, I would say. Like a certain strand. It's not very much you do crazy shit on it. You're not getting you're not on this, bent over on the side of the road trying to get more heroin. Not the type of drug I was expecting.
Yeah, it kind of seemed a little bit to me like a form of maybe like something that was like a mix between like ecstasy and weed.
Maybe Molly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but a lot of that stuff that's like
Those are uppers,
hallucinogens
though,
aren't
right?
usually that like habit forming. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, they could always tweak that. They're in a lab, but I'm saying like from
Yeah.
what I know about drugs, which is very little, they.
But I don't think this is so. Tinfoil hat. I don't think Alfonso and Sophia brought this into Gotham thinking this is just going to be a new drug to make money. I think there's a reason why they want people to be sedative, just like sheep, not. I think there has to be an underlying reason for this. I don't think she would be this invested in just a drug just to make money. Otherwise, she would have just continued with drops.
So you think that they're trying to inevitably push out the drop heads from being
I think
all
there's
over
a
Gotham?
I think there's a reason why they want people, especially in their little Underdark community, to be compliant and not fight back. I think there's more to this than just being a drug on the street. I don't think Oz is realizing what he's getting into.
It's a Hugo Strange experiment.
Because she says this is from Arkham. They gave this to her in Arkham. Okay. So there's got to be a plan with when her brother was visiting her multiple times that they might have came up with, could tie back into the fact of her being framed for the deaths of those women. Why would they want people to just kind of be in La La Land and not have an opinion or not fight back or something? I don't know. I just feel there's more layers to this than just being a new drug on the street.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about how you think women are asking for it.
Jesus, Zax.
Well, let me tell you.
About that.
I haven't moved on at all, Nadia.
No, Chris will be mad. I can't say anything.
Okay.
Repeal the 19th.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
What?
No.
Atta girl.
I also like the fact that Sophia here basically tells him, like, I get it, you don't trust me. I wouldn't trust somebody who's been in Arkham too, but you know, you didn't trust my father, and look what happened, and we're both on the same page about him. You opened a bottle of champagne, I danced on his grave. So I could be a good alliance for you.
And if you've watched The Expanse, you'll know this guy already because it's Jean-Pierre Mao, one of the big villains from the first couple seasons.
He's been in quite a few things. I forget what else I recognize him from.
He was the guy in Lost who was on the instrument manuals and instruction stuff, the videos they would find.
That's
He was
right.
also in that. Yeah.
That's
I see him in a
right.
lot of different things. He always pops up in different places.
I heard the expansion's pretty good too.
The Expanse is pretty cool.
The Expanse is
Expanse.
great. Yeah. For the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Isn't it based on a book series too?
Yep. Season 1 to 4 are outstanding. Season 5 kind of sucks, and season 6 is a decent way to wrap it up.
Oh, so Game of Thrones, but in space.
A lot like that, yes. Yep.
Just saying.
It's not.
Ending bad?
You're not wrong.
All right, so let's get on with this. The PTSD flashback for poor Vic, man. So well done, by the way, too. Even though most of it was CGI.
I felt that on a very, very personal level, because that's happened to me before. Where you just, I've been out, and then you just have like a flashback to like fucking Afghanistan. I'm like, oh shit, So I've seen that before. So that part was like, oh man, that was kind of hard, but I liked it though. I thought it was a really good depiction of how it goes.
Anyone else?
No, I agree. Like I said, being in a rock band and playing shows and then going out to different clubs, afterwards or whatever, and just whether it's you're insanely drunk or you, I never really got into much drug use. I just used to smoke weed back in the day. But there's times where I've been pretty high, and the bass from the club kind of just like makes you like blank or make you think like, where the hell are you for a second, and almost like kind of gives you a little bit of a like chest anxiety.
Yeah, where it goes.
Because it's possible, like if the bass is too loud or it's too strong, like it can give you like heart flutters, and that can affect like your heart, and it's obviously not a good thing. So yeah, and to me, that's like, I think Jay Goodwin called it out earlier, but it's like that kind of triggered his PTSD. So definitely believable in my eyes.
Kata, I want to go back to you because I had a question for you and then it disappeared, and then I wanted to hear Nick. In this type of situation, since you've experienced it too, what would you do? Would you just sit on
you just gotta breathe through it. Just gotta breathe through it with some, like he did. He went to the bathroom, throw some water in your face. Just gotta ground yourself and things like that. So that's what it looked like he was going to do. I didn't have it that bad where I was like on the floor in a fucking ball, but it happens.
And then there's another additional scene in the club that I really liked, which was the bathroom scene.
Get some fresh air. Drink some water.
Oz finds out that he's trying to run away. Or not really. I don't think he's actually made up his mind. I actually don't think Vic... I don't think if this had happened, I don't think Vic would have left.
I agree, and I think this is also a good point, too, where you mentioned, Nadia, of Oz's bipolarism here. He just all of a sudden draws a gun on him. It's like,
I think it's more of a manipulation, if you ask me. It's more like a controlling aspect. Because that's something that a lot of abusers do. They'll try to flip it on you and make it seem like, what you're doing is kind of what you want to do, and that's fine, but you don't really want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see, a little bit of both. Yeah, I could see that. I felt bad for this kid. Again, I think Victor to me is the heart of the show.
Yes.
Where it's pulling the audience's heartstrings. It's making you feel sympathetic for it. Because like everybody on this panel has said, Oz is fun. You get some laughs out of it and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're constantly reminded, like, he's a douchebag. He's a bad guy. He's only out for himself. And you have to counteract that. Otherwise, audiences are not going to be sympathetic to your show, like have characters to relate to. Because you can't just always just have somebody who's ruthless and pulling guns on somebody. You need a little bit of heart to the show, and I think that's what Victor is.
Mm-hmm.
I see like two tragedies here with this exchange, and they're both on Oz's side, and so they had that nice conversation at dinner where he's talking to the waiter about the stutter. And now he's stuttering, and Oz isn't letting him finish, and try to explain the situation. But
I thought of that too.
You're also seeing that Oz is he's got abandonment issues. He did start to take a shine to Victor, and he thinks that he's getting away. I think honestly, if Victor actually would have talked to Oz about it, he would have probably gave him his honest opinion and let him borrow his car to go talk to this girl. He even though he's been ridiculous and threatening to kill him and everything, he has been, besides their like initial meeting, nothing but generous to this kid. I just think it's like a classic television miscommunication.
I also think in this scene too, Victor finally tells Oz to fuck off, which I didn't see coming, but I was like, all right, Vic, kudos to you for talking back to your boss like that.
Yeah.
Like it kind of felt like the dinner talk, or like the dinner scene was coming out a little bit more here in this bathroom scene, because he's up against a wall. But I do agree. I don't think he would have left on his own had he been given the chance. And we see him talking to himself, kind of prepping up the part before the cop the Gotham PD guy shows up, which that was kind of interesting too. And obviously goes into the dinner scene too. But yeah, I feel bad for the kid even more. Just like, and I also think this goes back to what I think Sammy, you were saying this, or Zach, one of the two, about Penguin or Oz being alone. Like Oz is seeing himself about to be alone yet again and not have anyone. And he's afraid of that. Something within him has some sort of issue to that. And he doesn't want to go, even though he says, like, fine, get the fuck out of here. And he does. And I kind of felt bad just for a small second. I was like, wow, Oz is alone again. And although I figured he would come back, and obviously he does.
Well, it comes off to the last before the PTS. He was making space for himself. He was the bag man. He had confidence walking around.
Right.
So that probably the adrenaline of it able for him to tell Oz basically to F off and leave.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he stole his car. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was great.
I was like, that's such a good idea, kid. And I mean, eventually he doesn't decide to go with his girlfriend. He decides to go back. And I felt for him there too. There's some, and I don't think it's for Oz. I think it's the promises that Oz, like you'll make you want something better for yourself. I'm offering you stuff that's better for, a better life for yourself. And I think that's set up in the beginning where, he's telling his dad, why don't you ask for more money? You do more work for your boss. You should be paid more. So he wants, and his dad's pretty much like, nope, I'm paid fair enough. I support this family. And they're talking about, well, we could have more stuff or move somewhere else. And like, do you not remember where we came from? And we came to this place, we have this nice apartment. Like we're grateful for what we have, which counteracts to this point where he's like, I want more for myself. I just don't want to settle for the life. And I think that settling would have been the life he would have led if he had ran away with his girlfriend.
It would have been hard, especially in California once he finds out how expensive it is.
This is what Chris, I don't know what Chris said. He's like,
well, I
guess
said,
California's
this
better
is
than Gotham.
Theoretically, the one instance where California might be the better choice.
Yeah.
That's true.
So he drives back and he sees that Nadia, not me, the character Nadia, pulls up on Sophia and Oz outside from the Malcone family and basically tells Oz, like, hey, we've been following you. We know you're up to some shit. And I also like Sophia's reaction there.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how he talks his way out of this one now.
Well, I'm curious if Sophia even got out of that alive.
Yeah.
Because, Victor runs into the dude, and then after that, it's like, it's muffled, but there's some stuff going on, and then he just jumps in and he goes, leave her, after that heartfelt moment he just had.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe he took the opportunity to, like, get rid of her right there, or, maybe Sophia got caught in a crossfire, but, there's a lot of stuff that you didn't get to see happen right there.
Do you think that? I mean, I think there could be a possibility she got taken.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is something too. I have it. I had to pause it to find out where it was. Oh damn it! Reset. There's a spot when they're outside and what moment is it? It's like on minutes, like I don't know, like 53, 55, somewhere around there. But she says to Oz, and I'm not the hangman. I know she's talking about like in the scene, but I'm like, are they actually alluding to that? Is that foreshadowing from a character? If you turn on captions, she says it like right around there, and it's like, wait a second, maybe again, like Sam was saying, like she's the red herring. Like,
here, I'll find it real quick.
It's like right. You're super close to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like plant that seed in that moment and we see it later on. But obviously, like we've kind of suspected it, or some of us have. So
yeah, I think my theory is correct. I really do. And by the end, I will be correct. I can feel it in my bones.
She says he's not a made man. I haven't seen Hangman come up yet.
It's like
Is it after he tells him like it was worth it to lock her up?
I'm going through it right now myself. I think it was.
We get a speech from him. Maybe it was earlier. Because I don't see her. Because she doesn't talk anymore. And then. Okay.
Yeah, it's like literally like at like the 53-minute, 50-second mark. Now it's kind of hard to scroll right that play pause, but
I'm getting there.
Yeah, she's saying like, you see the way they look at me in there. I'm not the hangman. Which I think is interesting too, because I wondered, it's like, so if they don't suspect, or if she's not the hangman, so how do they actually view her? Do they view her as like, okay, you're the head of the family now, like you're going to be the new mob boss, you should be the mob boss, so you're.
I got it.
Yeah.
The look in her eyes.
The way she says it too, it's sort of like, and I'm not the hangman, as if it's like a statement almost. Yeah. And Oz is like, okay.
Yeah. Well, she Goodwin brought it up. Where was it? She said like she does not like it when people call her crazy. You can see that she starts to. She's hurt when people think she's crazy. Which might be a reason why, she might be, the hangman thing might be a red herring. I do like Hada's theory that it's Carmine who originally killed everybody.
Strangling.
And then Oz just found it as an opportunity for them for himself to get out of being Sophia's driver. Because we don't even know the relationship they had back then. She could have been a complete bitch or a brat or something to that extent. And he just saw her as a way to get out of being a driver and moving up in the family.
Which, wouldn't that be some shit? Even just going back to the Batman movie itself, when Riddler says, bring the rat into the light. And, Penguin even says, as Carmine's being brought out into the light, and he goes, take that, you dirty rat. And he's like, who are you calling a rat? And he's like, I'll shoot you myself. And then Carmine dies. But it's like, if Carmine was the rat, but also Penguin is also a rat, or I guess could be potentially the rat, right? Like it's as if he ratted out Sophia to being the hangman when it's been Carmine all along.
And maybe in some way he knew that, or some way judged that, and that's his way of getting into good graces with Carmine.
Yeah, like I'll blame your daughter instead, or something like along those lines.
Hope it's not Agatha.
Well, on that note, that's the Inside Man. I'll go around, give final ratings and thoughts on it. Nick, I'll start with you.
Definitely a better episode than 2. I hate comparing it to the pilot episode, considering it's like the 3rd episode so far this season. I mean, definitely another good episode, and this show just continues to, give us every bang for its buck. I want to say this episode is like a 9 for me. The only scene I didn't really care for, it was like just a small little was the mushroom scene we talked about. Everything else I really, really, really enjoyed. The cinematography, the scenes, the wardrobe, the acting, the characters, their development, of course. Again, like everything is firing in all cylinders. So I did not watch the preview for next week, so I don't really have any foregone conclusions as to what's happening next yet, but just from what we've gotten so far at this episode, it's definitely been great.
Yeah, I didn't watch the preview either. I kind of tried to avoid them, to be honest, because I want to go in blind, so I don't expect what's going to happen. Sammy, ratings, thoughts on it's Bliss. Sorry, I said Inside Man. Bliss.
It's Bliss inside a man.
All right.
Listen, that's your Saturdays, not mine. Okay.
Only if you do it right. What?
No,
So-
I very much enjoyed this episode. I think it's been, I think we've been very consistent here. If we gave episode 2 an 8.5, I'd say that this one probably around the same, an 8.5 to a 9. You're getting some good character development. We're getting to see a little bit more into Vic's world, but a lot into how Oz actually handles himself. And Sophia is just such a compelling character to me. I think this show has been very consistent. I'm again finished the episode today, and I am looking forward to another Sunday night, just watching it and seeing what's going to happen next.
Very cool. Zax, and I know you have to get out of here potentially.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to
thanks for
give
me
final
on.
thoughts. Yeah, always. You always have an open door.
Perfect. So I give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.75 because I gave the last one an 8.5. It's not quite as good as the making up new scores now as the first episode. So it's between the two. I think it's close to the premiere, better than the episode 2. I think these are all top-notch episodes and just refreshingly good storytelling that trust the audience, which I think is so important for this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, I know you're going to be.
Yeah, let me be the controversial opinion here. I give it a 7. I actually think it's the worst one so far. I was kind of quiet during everything because I guess, again, as I've stated multiple times already, it's suffering from being compared to the pilot episode, but I think comparatively, I don't feel like that much actually happened. I felt like a lot of things just kind of dragged on, and yeah, I was hoping for better, and hopefully that's what I get out of the next episode. So I give it a 7.
All right, and Chris is never welcome back on the show, so don't worry about that. I'm his wife, so I make all the decisions on this. But no, I'm just kidding. Kata, what about you?
I will say that we might be watching 2 different shows here because I think that it's just another quality episode across the board. I really don't have anything to complain about besides that one minor scene with the mushroom. That was kind of like a oversight in my eyes. It's like you just set that up. I didn't expect you to do that right then and there. But other than that, I think everything is fantastic. The acting, especially the acting, it's everything is great. The story, the way that it's going with the story and the characters and how they're developing and how we're learning more about their backstories and how things are unfolding. It's all just so intriguing, and it's quality television. It's like it makes you want to go back. It makes me want to go watch the previous episodes. It makes me want to go watch the Batman again. It makes me want to look forward to next Sunday. Like I think it's good. I'd give it another 9.
Nice.
I myself would give it an 8 point. I'll go with an 8. I'll go with an 8. It's a solid episode. I liked it better than episode 2. I definitely moved the story along a little bit faster. Again, I think Victor's becoming one of my favorite characters in this entire, and I'm intrigued to see where his story ends in the finale with this. If the theories are right of who he might be. So, yeah, I would say a solid 8 for me. On that note, Nick, what do you got going on over at The Plot Strikes Back?
Well, dealing with Hurricane Milton. So we'll kind
Ooh.
of see what my production is like this week. But I got a video coming out on Megaflopolis. So we'll see how that does. But yeah, I got a couple of reaction videos up on some recent trailers. And I'm going to try and see the new Saturday Night movie that comes out this week as well. I liked the trailer that came out a month or so ago. I think it'll be pretty good overall. At least that's my expectation. So once that comes out, and I hopefully see it this weekend, if the city is not flooded and movie theaters are actually open. If not, I'd rather not pirate it or something like that. But expect a video on that some time for me in the future. And then providing I have internet, I will be on the stream Friday with Nadia and Zax for the From series. From
Sammy. Thank you,
I,
Sammy.
I
Go ahead.
am going to be on Diabolical Souls this week for the animation block, and then Tuesday we have our second episode of that show I started with Leon, Tinfoil Haters, and I can't forget my good buddy Roman. I will be on his show. I'm pretty sure we're talking about werewolves. Other than that, I'm playing it by ear. It's my birthday this weekend, so I'm gonna be
Happy birthday!
37. So I will be I'm sure I'll be bopping in on other people's streams, saying hello.
Getting
Oh,
old.
fuck.
Yep.
Happy early birthday, old man.
Thank you, sir.
Zax.
Yeah. I want to be on that show with Leon and Sammy. I can't do it this week, but I'm excited for that show. I want to watch it at least. I think it's a cool idea these guys are doing. And I think Wednesday, 9:00. What's Good Wednesday? We're talking about what the best and the worst of sequels, given the Joker 2 has come out and what it's done. So yeah, the best and the worst of sequels. We'll do that on Wednesday.
Very cool. I don't know if I'm going to be on. Am I on? I don't even know.
I would like you to be.
Talk to my manager. He's right next to you. Chris, where are you going to be?
Me? Oh, I'm generally either here doing this or coming up with, sneaky plans as to how to avoid becoming a nightmare creature on From. So those are pretty much the only things I have going on. Otherwise, Miss Nadia, how about yourself?
Actually, don't forget Kata. I get.
Ooh.
Yes, Kata. Where
Kata
are you,
in the
sir?
car.
In traffic.
I just got out of traffic, literally just right now. Okay, I literally just got out right now. This is perfect. I'm so happy. I was getting irritated. Dude behind me had high beams on. It's pissing me the fuck off. But yeah, I'm going to be. I'm back from vacation, so I'm gonna have videos out on the channel. On Fridays, of course. New Black Street. I wasn't able to be there last week, so I will be here this week in a major way. So yeah, just look out for that. And I'm trying to get a special person on a New Black Street. We'll see if that works out. That's all I can say. All I'm gonna say is, if this person shows up, it will be a banger episode. If it doesn't happen this week, I'm gonna make sure it happens in the future. That's all I'm going to say.
Very nice.
But look
Very
forward
nice.
to that.
I will say this week's it was okay, but you got your dynamic. The two of you really makes the show way better. To bounce it back between the two of you. So you were definitely missed, at least to me. Just don't tell him.
I'm telling everybody.
As for myself, I'll be on Jacob Ironside tomorrow talking about Tremors, the 1990.
Awesome.
I think it's 1990 or 1990. It's one of the 90s, but it's a awesome movie with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites growing up, so I'm very excited to talk about that. Thursday, I'm seeing a double feature of Terrifier 2 and 3 by myself because somebody won't go with me. So I will be in the theater that long, but I'll have some reviews and videos coming out. Oh, tomorrow.
I will not be guilted.
Tomorrow, over on my horror channel, Horror with Nads, I will be doing my first Horror Tuesday live stream. So I will be taking the news segment I usually do, which I drop recorded videos, and doing it as a live stream to kind of test it out. So tune in at 2 p.m. Pacific for that one. Other than that, thank you, my panel. Thank you guys so much. Zax, I know I had to run, and Gooch for stopping by. Everybody's links are in the description. Please go follow everybody. They're worth it. They're awesome content creators. And until next time, guys, have a great evening. Bye.
Here's everyone.
Bye.
Bye.